It's my pleasure to present this motion, a very important motion that touches on the lives of every citizen of this country. The motion is on urgent need to investigate with an intention to halt the continuous unwholesome practices of chemical ripening of fruits among fruit sellers in Nigeria. The Senate, aware that ripening of fruits is a natural physiological process and makes fruits sweeter, more palatable, edible, nutritious, softer, and attractive. Fruit ripening is a highly regulated, irreversible process that involves highly coordinated, complex biochemical and physiological changes. Also aware that the artificial ripening of fruits involves the external application of chemicals and other agents to achieve faster and more uniform ripening of fruits. Informed that among the widely used artificial ripening agents are ethylene and methyl jasmonate, which have been reported to be non-toxic for human consumption. However, they are relatively expensive. In many developing countries, low-cost chemicals such as calcium carbide, ethylene glycol, and ethiphone are reported to be commonly used to artificially trigger the ripening processes of fruits. Also informed that the cosmetic quality of artificially ripened fruits will increase, but organic qualities, meaning the taste, the color, and smell, nutrition value, and shelf life are depreciated when fruits are subjected to treatment without considering maturity status. Worried that nutrition experts and regulatory agencies such as NAFDAC, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, have warned against fruit ripening with calcium carbide, describing it as a harmful practice that endangers human lives. Also worried that calcium carbide contains impurities such as arsenic, lead particles, phosphorus, etc., that cause several health hazards such as cancer, heart, kidney, liver failures, neurological disorders, intestinal problems, skin damage, mouth ulcers, and so on, certain that the practice of ripening fruits with dangerous chemicals are being on the increase among fruit sellers in Nigeria. Also saddened that many of these fruit sellers are ignorant of the health hazards posed by consumption of artificially ripened fruits, but driven by the incremental profit that made it much profit, as most customers prefer to patronize the artificially ripened fruits due to its enhanced cosmetic appearance, not knowing that they are buying poison. And also note that the use of some of these chemicals have been banned in many countries of the world, but they are still being used indiscriminately in Nigeria. Accordingly, results to: number one, urge NAFDAC, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission to investigate the practice of chemical ripening of fruits in Nigeria. Number two, also urge NAFDAC, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, as well as the FCCPC, to increase the level of awareness by continuous sensitization and public enlightenment on the hazardous implications of chemical ripening of fruits. Further urge NAFDAC and Nigerian Customs Service to ensure that imported fruits, especially apples, are not preserved with harmful chemicals. And finally, equally urge NAFDAC and FCCPC to commence regular visits to fruit markets to check the practice of chemical ripening of fruits. I so move. Thank you, Mr. President.
Who has raised this very, very important motion. As a matter of fact, all of us, senators here, we are all victims of these malpractices. That, like Senator Zenaso said, whether we know it or not, when you ask people to go and buy you fruit, you don't know where they buy it from. And it is now common, whether you want to buy banana, you want to buy orange, you want to buy any of the fruits, you find that they use these chemicals to fasten the wrapping and all that and all that. So what ordinarily should be a source of nutrition become an hazard that you consume. And as people have observed in our hospitals, you find all kinds of new forms of ailments everywhere. I do not think people are acting out of ignorance. I think it is this craze to make money anyhow, anywhere. My shock, Mr. President, is that we have a whole outfit called NAFDAC. If we as senators here, whose responsibility is to make law, are aware of this very dangerous malpractice, how can it be assumed that NAFDAC does not know? Therefore, when we come to the prayers, I will suggest that we do not only urge NAFDAC, but that we condemn their indifference, their negligence of duty in allowing these poisonous items to be hawked around all over the country. I want to thank you again, Ani, for this very well-informed. You stated all the details, and I think today you have shown to us that when you have professor as a senator, you can have a rare combination. Mr. President, I support this motion, and I urge us to be hard on NAFDAC, to live up to their responsibility and justify the taxpayers' money that is used to maintain them. Thank you, Mr. President.
On this motion, very, very important motion that has to do with the health of Nigerians. I so second.
Distinguished Senator,
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Osita Izunaso. I represent Imo West. I'm going to be as brief as the last speaker. Mr. President, let me commend Professor Tony Ani for bringing this motion. This motion might just look as if it's an ordinary motion, but it is extremely sensitive, Mr. President. Nigerians are not aware of what we consume. Every day, go to the farmer's market, you will see people buying fruits that you don't even know where these fruits are coming from. Buy fruit, you don't know which farm is producing the fruit and how is it being produced. And these are all the cases of GMO, genetically modified organism. In one way or the other, we are eating what we do not know about. Mr. President, I don't even think we are going to waste much time on this motion, but than to refer to the relevant agencies. I've looked at the prayers. When we come for the amendment of the prayers, I think it's only one prayer that will sustain here because there is need for proper sensitization. There's need for Nigerians to know. This information is not in the public domain. People are just consuming what they don't even know about. And it's not only the poor people to say, but even the rich people. You will ask your cook to go and buy things for you. You are not following him to the market to buy those things. And you don't even know where those things are produced. And particularly the imported items into the country. So I think we have to look at it very seriously, Mr. President. I want to commend him once more for bringing this motion. Thank you, Mr. President.
I represent the good and decent people of Kwara North. Mr. President, this problem is a very serious problem in this country, and we don't seem to see the immediate effect because some of these impurities, especially arsenic, lead, work slowly in the human body. And at a point, you see liver problems, kidney problems, gastrointestinal problems, that you might not be able to necessarily trace it to these impurities. But if you look at the overall health implication, this is destroying our society. You go to hospitals today and you look at the data, you see people coming down daily with ailments. And therefore, Mr. President, I think we should take this very seriously and urge all the agencies, as it has been stated, to halt this thing as soon as is possible, because we are losing too many lives in this country. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you.
And nobody is doing anything about it. NAFDAC, yes, NAFDAC is trying, but I don't think they have created any means of dealing with these people. These people, that are creating health havoc around the country. We must up our game. We should find a system where there will be random checks. The sellers will be called, or there will be, these items will be checked and find out those who are involved in this kind of practice in a random manner. Once this is done, they will now feel that it's no longer safe for them to do so, that they will be arrested and prosecuted. Otherwise, this kind of trend will destroy the health of our people. We must do something about it. It looks so, people might not take it seriously, but it's something that has serious effects on our lives. This is what is going on now. You see a very ripe banana, not knowing that it is chemical that made it to be so. Sometimes they put them in drainages. In gutter, put them inside there, and then later in the morning they pick them up and wash them and sell to the public. So, Mr. President, we shouldn't joke with this matter. We should go to the root of it, get those involved, NAFDAC, they should be told that this is what is happening, and they should bring out a means of, something that can be done, a system that will fish out these people and deal with them so that others will not go the same way. Mr. President, please, I urge everybody, let's look at this matter, give it the attention it deserves. I say so, Mr. President.
Well, let me commend Senator Ani for this. As a senator, we hold our constituents the responsibility to speak about issues like this. It's not only on those concrete issues, but these supposedly abstract issues are issues that has to do with our lives. So I will say, and I will urge us to let us start the advocacy from here. Let us start the advocacy from here now. All that we have said is about advocacy. And let this tape be played to Nigerians that at the Senate, we are particularly concerned about those fruits that they consume out there, those fruits that are not good for their health, those fruits that can damage their internal organs. Like the kidney, you can see if you go to the hospital, particularly tertiary hospitals, you will see young children, young girls of 16, 18 coming down with kidney issues. Then you wonder, is it that the person has consumed so much alcohol that has damaged the person's kidney, or what could be leading to it? Distinguished ladies, distinguished senators, these are part of the things that are destroying our children. These are part of the things that are giving parents creating unnecessary ways of spending money. So I urge all of us to support this bill and give it this motion, in the sense that it is something that all of us are very particular about, and together we say no to this way of treating or dealing with our fruits or preserving our fruits. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I so submit.
Senator Egon Samson.
To increase their surveillance. These are killers. What we consume sometimes are killers. They offer no respect, and they increase the number of patients in our clinics and health centers. So this type of bill is quite commendable. It raises a number of issues about our healthcare and then challenges us to be aware of what we take in. It also gives an assignment to NAFDAC and other bodies to step up their surveillance and inappropriate measures, inappropriate cases, sanctions must be meted out to some people who, instead of protecting us, are sending a number of people to their graves, to their early graves, to their untimely graves, and death as it were. So I think this is the type of motion that creates a challenge on all of us, and I share the strong passion. I align with the type of opinion that the motion should be commended, should be supported. We must create the type of environment where our healthcare system is safeguarded. We must drive the type of advocacy that we need to drive so that people are aware of what they are consumed. There's a real interest in taking in fruits, but what type of fruits are we taking in? Are we consuming the type of fruits that are sending us to our early graves, or the type of fruits that enrich us as human beings? So I really commend our colleague for the thoughts that have been captured in this motion. I support it. Thank you.
Senator Pam.
Give me this opportunity to support my friend for bringing this motion so that we can be able to guide ourselves against certain excesses of human behaviors. Sir, I would like to say here that I'm one of the victims of such dirty acts of these vendors who sell fruits. There's a time I asked one of them that, is it carbide that make it like this? And the seller told me yes. This, I'm happy that the mover has brought us to be aware of certain dirty acts of some people that make us uncomfortable in this our country. So it would be better for us, despite trying to tell NAFDAC and other agencies of government that are responsible for monitoring these activities, we should be conscious of the fact that before buying any of these things, we have to know where it came from. And if you look at the environment they sell these things, it's so bad. And if the agencies too can monitor them and give them the advice they should sell these things at the right places and find out the modalities they use that in selling these things, I think it will save us. This, I would say that is one of the best motion that has come to us as Nigerians, and this place I believe that will do the best to safeguard it. Thank you very much.
Yes, distinguished Senator.
To chip in, Mr. President, is while the debate was going on, I see very serious and more emphasis concentrated on NAFDAC. I think we should do a little bit of research and expand the agencies that we will include into this, such as FGCCP and others, and other health agencies in particular in controlling communal health and the rest. There is no more good time to attend to this than now, particularly to we senators or legislators. As you enter this tea room, Mr. President, you will see all those things there. The moment Olamileko enters that tea room, you will touch banana. Then that banana, you have to look at it, and but there is a technical way of observing for banana, which I know naturally. Naturally grown and ripe banana, you will see some dotted spots, black or pinkish like this on the back. Then you see smooth one, that one must be from carbide, Mr. President. The one that you see dotted, this is a naturally ripe phenomena. And so therefore, but this is nationwide.
is worldwide because we import a lot of apple, for example. Those apples also imported need to be checked and all that. So my point is that let's increase the number of agencies that will, keep responsibility on them to check this rather than NADAC alone. Thank you, Mr. President.
Happy about it. But let me just draw your attention to the very seriousness, the serious issues raised in this motion. Also worried that calcium carbide contains impurities such as arsenic, am I right? Professor Ani? I'm right in the pronunciation? Arsenic, lead particles, phosphorus, etc., that cause several health hazards such as cancer, heart, kidney, and liver failures, neurological disorders, intestinal problems, skin damage, mouth ulcers. Saddened that the practice of ripening of fruits with dangerous chemicals have been on the increase among fruit sellers in Nigeria. I believe that looking at it, just that paragraph alone is a locus classicus. It is a very sad thing to happen to a country. People are dying, dropping dead. People are having kidney failures. People are having heart issues. And you don't know they are associated with just the banana, the pawpaw, and the pineapples and things that you buy, maybe by the roadside, or you send somebody to the market to go and buy for you. So it affects both the rich and the poor. It's a very serious issue. So I want to join you to commend Professor Ani for this particular motion. Like Senator Palm said, this is probably one of the very, very most important motions in this chamber, brought by Senator Ani Antonio Correa. The practices of chemical ripening of fruits among fruit sellers in Nigeria, and sometimes among fruit producers. In an attempt to make quick money, they will just use chemicals to ripen the fruits. If you are going towards Akwanka, you see some of the fruits are dumped inside gutter with water, but they pour chemicals into those things. So they put them in the morning while they are coming to sell. Before evening, the ones that they put chemicals on have ripened, and they bring them out and sell in the night. So when you are eating, you won't know what is happening. And somebody gets some and probably starts having kidney issues or heart failure and will not know where the problems are coming from. In some communities, people have tried to associate those emergency illnesses to COVID vaccines. But this may be the real cause. Witchcraft is normal. Nobody dies naturally in Nigeria except through witchcraft. Even accidents are caused by witchcraft. So that is normal. Even these fruits, when you buy and it poisons your system, it is witchcraft. So that is a general name that we give to death in Nigeria. But this issue is very serious. I think we should go beyond just mere motion. We should look at the provisions in NAFDAC Act and see whether there's anything we can do to tinker to ensure that we bring stiff punishment to those who practice this. If we don't send people to jail, this practice will not stop. So let's also look at your prayers and see whether we can put a possible place there where we can amend any of the laws that regulate this sector in order to bring very steep penalties toward people who engage in this, because this is a major, major killer that can happen to even children will be most affected. Because children love fruits. Maybe on their way to school, on their way to primary school, and back from primary school or secondary school, they'll buy fruits. They will not know the ones that are chemically produced, chemically ripened, and all that. It's a very, very serious issue. Thank you for bringing this to the fore. And I thank my colleagues for their contributions. Prayer 1, urge NAFDAC, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission to investigate the practice of chemical ripening of fruits in Nigeria. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, urge NAFDAC, Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, FCCPC, to increase the level of awareness by continuous sensitization and public enlightenment on the hazardous implications of chemical ripening of fruits. I will only add National Orientation Agency. Can somebody move a motion to add National Orientation Agency as one of the agencies that should do the sensitization? Yes, Amos, Reverend.
Thank you, Mr. President. I remain Amos Yohana Adamo North. I wish to move that that prayer be amended to add that the NOA be added to the prayers for sensitization. Yes. I so move.
Distinguished Senator Sheriff Adin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to support the motion ably moved by my colleague that in line with the mandate of the National Orientation Agency, that the prayer should be amended to include them by way of sensitization. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, the prayer 2 is amended to urge the NAFDAC, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, the Federal Consumer Competition and Consumer Practice Protection Commission, and the National Orientation Agency to increase the level of awareness by continuous sensitization and public enlightenment on the hazardous implications of chemical ripening of fruits in Nigeria. Those in support of prayer 2 as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3, further urge NAFDAC and the Nigerian Customs Services to ensure that imported fruits, especially apples, are not preserved with harmful chemicals. Those in support of prayer 3 say aye.
Amendment.
Amendment, yes, Senator Mangunu.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. The agency that is statutorily mandated to ensure the quality of agricultural products that are exported and imported is the Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Service. So we should amend the prayer to say further urge NAFDAC, Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Service, and Nigerian Customs Service to ensure that imported fruits, especially apples, are not preserved with harmful chemicals.
Yes, any seconder? Is it Senator Church? Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Jibril.
Yes, sir. anyone, sir. Your Excellency, Mr. President.
It's a Jibril, not a Church.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, very distinguished colleagues, I am Issa Jibril, representing Kogi East. I rise to second the motion, the amendment ably moved by the Chief Whip of the Senate. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in support of prayer 3 as amended say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 4, equally urge NAFDAC and FCCPC to commence regular visits to fruit markets to check the practice of chemical ripening of fruits. Those in support of this last prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Like I said, I think we should also add another prayer to see whether we can amend any act of the parliament to put stiff punishment or stiffer punishment for anybody that is engaged in this practice. Because this is very deadly. Anybody can die unknowingly through this practice. And therefore, I think it shouldn't be something we just make a motion and go. So maybe we should have like a last prayer that yes, we should look at the extant regulations and inject a provision that will ensure the punishment of anybody caught in this act in order to save lives in the future. Distinguished Senator Nwebwe, you may wish to craft it.
Thank you, Mr. President.
As additional prayer.
As additional prayer, we make a law.
We amend any of
we amend the existing law.
Of the existing law.
The extant laws regarding these provisions to make it an offense for fruit dealers, punishable by law for fruit dealers to embark on chemical fruit ripening as against natural ripening of fruits. I so move.
Yes. Distinguished colleagues, this last prayer is actually for our committee on legal matters to explore possibilities of injecting a provision that not only bans but ensures stiff punishment that criminalizes the practice of ripening fruits through dangerous chemicals. Those in support of the motion have moved and seconded that we should criminalize the practice of ripening fruits through dangerous chemicals in this country and ensure stiff punishment for those engaged in the practice. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. I believe this is something that must be done to serve as a deterrent and to bring the practice to an end. It's not just enough to make a motion, but it's important to take the right action and then also stiff punishment and let people be aware that yes, if you do this and you are caught, that there will be punishment for it. And that way, we can save lives of people, save life of elders, save life of children, save life of women, save life of men, and even lives of politicians. So I want to thank you. Also, any additional prayer?
That we don't just urge NAFDAC. If all of us and many people outside this room are aware of this widespread malpractice, it is shocking that NAFDAC, that is statutorily mandated to protect Nigerians against all forms of impurities in our food, that they have been silent on it. I thought we should have an additional prayer that seeks to condemn NAFDAC's seeming indifference to this otherwise dangerous malpractice all over the country.
We don't have proof of that.
I thought that we should not just urge them, as if we didn't urge them, it is in their mandate.
NAFDAC to brief the committee and by implication brief the Senate on what they are doing to prevent this dangerous practice. So we should urge.
Mr. President, I'm so guided that we urge the
committee on
relevant
narcotics
committees to invite NAFDAC to interact with them as to what they have been. I so move, sir.
Okay, so the institutions, secondary and tertiary, should immediately, and any other relevant committee, particularly agriculture, too. A committee on health and committee on agri.
Yes, because it's contamination. It's after the, after harvest that they now use chemical to contaminate the food. So it's about his health. It's NAFDAC. NAFDAC is under health, right? Hmm?
Huh? So, distinguished DSP, they are suggesting that the two can go. Committee on Health and Agric. The two committees, because quarantine is under Agric. To invite NAFDAC to immediately interact with them to find out what they are doing to curb this dangerous practice. And if they are not doing anything, report back to the Senate. Yes, please go ahead.
Mr. President, I stand.
Let me thank once again Senator Ani. You can see the time we have spent on this motion. It's almost 4 p.m. But we believe that this is a very important motion that touches on the health of Nigerians and even friends of Nigerians who visit our country. You don't know the fruits that you are eating in many hotels. When they provide you with fruits, you order fruits, you wouldn't know which one is chemically ripened and which one is not chemically ripened. So it's a very dangerous thing. It's a very sad thing. And so you will not know when something happens to you, you go back home and people will go and talk. So I thank you once again for bringing this. And I thank my colleagues for their patience and contributions to this motion. And permit me to just make a simple announcement before we call it a day. The distinguished senators of the APC extraction are invited to attend an APC summit slated for tomorrow, 22nd day of May, 2025, at the State House Banquet Hall. Departure time from here will be 1 p.m. Accreditation will happen simultaneously between here and the House of Representatives. And buses will be made available to convey you all. People are all expected to have been seated before 1:30. The program is slated to commence by 2 p.m. prompt. So we have our normal sitting in the morning, and then from here we all move together to go there. This is strictly for APC senators and APC members of the House of Representatives. But at the same time, because of the magnanimity of the Senate, we have extended the invitation. We have extended the invitation to intended APC members. So this I believe, is fair and just, and so that nobody will feel left out. Therefore, Minority Leader of the Senate, take note. Accordingly, this Senate stands adjourned to Thursday, 22nd day of May, 2025 at 11 a.m. prompt.